Hey, you wild women. How are you doing? Oh my word. I am just dialing in from Phuket, Thailand, which is like a magical place. But when they say that it's rainy season, which is technically not, we still experience these crazy storms. And I'm just cleaning off my screen here. Right now, it is like a really gnarly thunderstorm, lightning, lots of rain. These crazy downpours, and I'm here for it, and I love it. But my kids are out ziplining somewhere inland as I get the chance to complete some tasks here. And it has been a journey. If you are following along on social media, on Instagram, Renee_Warren, I have not been updating as much as I should. And I know this. It's just that it has been a crazy experience, tons of learning, probably the most expansion my family has ever had. And I have a quiet moment to record this episode. So here we are. And I can't wait to talk about the one thing that I think a lot of people get wrong when it comes to expansion, growth, growing yourself, growing your business. And the one thing you can do that will help you protect your energy. I spent years trying to copy morning routines from women who had nannies, house managers, and completely different life stages than me. This was before we even had our own house manager. And I wondered why I was so exhausted, why I was so resentful and burnt out, because I was nowhere near my goals, building a life that I thought I wanted. And I wondered why I was always so exhausted. I wondered why I was always so jealous and resentful. Today, I want to share the energy protection truth that changed everything. And sometimes, for many of you, it might not be what you think. See, the big misconception is that most of us believe protecting our energy means we're being mean, selfish, difficult, dismissal. We worry about what people might think when we say no or not now or let me think about it. But here's what I learned the hard way in all of this is that I used to model myself after the wrong people, trying to force fit into their clothes, into their workout routines, into their travel schedules. And I wasn't building something that was right for me because I turned to these women that were my mentors and my idols. And these are childless women. These are women that have, by intention or even not by design, just completely different life than mine. And I was trying to achieve what they achieved, which didn't make any sense. And it doesn't make any sense. And I want to talk through kind of how I went from being inspired by these people, but then also finding my own rhythm of what success means to me. And by the end of this episode, I want to promise you something, that if you listen through the whole thing, you'll understand why everything that you've been taught about energy management can be considered backwards. And you'll have a completely new framework for protecting your most valuable asset, which is your energy. And let me tell you, I know what it means to have great energy, because when you were traveling, getting on airplanes and crossing all these time zones for the past 2.5 months, I know what the days feel like when I'm full of energy and when I'm not full of energy. I know what it's like to be highly productive in a day that I've slept well, or a day I'm coasting and surviving because I'm jet lagged. So let's talk about, first thing is the $1 million energy leaks. Now, before I show you what to do in this, I want to explain to you exactly how poor energy management is costing you maybe even your $1 million year and your sanity. The first thing that comes when you are so drained and unfocused is missed opportunities. And I know that you know this. When your nervous system is fired and overwhelmed and everything is yuck and your digestion is off, everything feels like too much. I get it. I'm feeling that way right now. And everything does feel like too much. It could be like a speaking opportunity that you turned down because you were too depleted. It could have been a really cool retreat you wanted to maybe go to, which I know would have been a game changer for your business. You couldn't do it because you were exhausted and had too much on the go. The thing too, when your energy is not up to snuff, is it compromises your decision-making abilities. Now, if you listen to the episode that is out or coming out with Ali Webb, the incredible Ali Webb, we talk about the thing that I admire the most about her is her speed of decision-making. But when your energy is compromised, so is your decision-making capabilities. See, the exhausted brain makes cheap decisions. Oh, say that again. The exhausted brain makes cheap decisions. You start second guessing everything, your pricing, your offer, your hiring, your workout routine, what to eat. And I remember all these decisions I made to say no to things that I know I should have said yes to, which again is probably the opposite of what you were thinking in terms of energy leaks, because I was so exhausted. I missed out on great partnerships, opportunities, speaking gigs, guests for my shows. And it was because opportunities like going out for dinner with a group of women that I know I would have met some incredible souls, or I was too slow to make a decision on a partnership or an event or something because I was so tired. And then I kept telling myself the story of I'm just tired, I'm tired. And I used that as an excuse. But that also is an energy leak. The other thing that happens is that you get this erosion of authority. You know what I mean? You can't lead loud when you're running out of fumes. Your audience feels that depletion too. And then your message ends up becoming nice instead of necessary. Then there's the last thing, which is the momentum tax that you pay. You know, when you start to get momentum in your business on this journey, whatever adventure you're taking, like could be releasing late or I don't know, working out, whatever it is, eating well, getting on more sales calls, and you get this momentum. It's almost like it becomes this addiction because it is a dopamine hit. But then when you have energy leaks, what happens is that you become inconsistent. And that inconsistency is expensive. Momentum is the actual currency of $1 million businesses. It's about creating discipline, not necessarily being motivated. And actually, Layla Hormozi just talked about this on one of her podcasts. If you don't listen to her, she's incredible. She talks about the difference between like motivation and discipline. And you need, in order to get momentum, you need that discipline. And with the momentum tax is the compound effect you're missing when you're constantly recovering is diabolical. Because if you're always in recovery mode, you never have a chance to rest or relax or recuperate, then you're paying the price and losing that momentum. So if that's what it's costing you, and I'm sure the list is like even more exhausted than this, but this is just a little taste of it. I want to maybe blow your mind on something else. And this is what actually creates more energy. For me, talking about personal experience, the things that have helped me create more energy. And these are some counterintuitive energy strategies. And these are 3 strategies that might feel wrong at first. They could make you very uncomfortable, but it is exactly why they work. If you want to hear them, let me know. Here we go. Strategy number 1 is to stop doing the work that you're good at. Oh, I know, growing a business, sometimes we get into the business because we're really good at one thing and that's all we love to do, but it's actually not the thing that makes a business. If you're really good at one thing, like maybe it's design work and you don't like anything else, then you should get a job, because being an entrepreneur and growing a business really means you got to stop doing the things that you're good at. And here's why. Because competency is often the biggest energy leaks. Excellence can actually be a trap. The ultimate unlock in all of this is to let go of what you're best at, but also doesn't energize you. This is where creativity, visibility, and authority finally get oxygen, if you know what I mean. And one of the things that you have to let go of is those $10 tasks. You have to delegate. You have to hire that virtual assistant or hire that house manager. I can't tell you how many times I've said before, and just being able to grow my business, being able to grow my influence, my affluence because of the help at home. We have Betty. She's amazing. She's our house manager and she does so much. And actually, if you've tuned in for long enough, you'll know that we partner with an incredible woman named Kelly from Sage House, SAGEHOUSE. And she provides vetted, trained, incredible house managers for people who are in this position right now. Their energy is leaked and they actually want to step forward and step into their greatness. So if you go to sagehouse.com, SAGEHOUS, .com. And actually, if you click on the link in the show notes, it's even better. And you can go and check it out. She's got courses, and her best, like her marquee thing, the Bee's Knees program that she offers, is to find, hire, train a house manager for you, so you get your time back, so that all the things at home can be taken care of. Here's a perfect example. We're at this villa right now in Phuket, and we had this option of hiring a chef, a chef to come in and cook meals. And at first it was like, do we want them for just dinners or a handful of dinners? Or we can have them for every single meal, every single day we're here. And I said, well, that's absurd, first of all, because I don't know if we're going to be going out for dinner, have dinner with friends. So I don't want to hire them for 3 meals a day for a whole week if we're not going to utilize them. Well, we're now on day 3 or 4 here, and they have served every single meal. It has been exquisite. And now we make it a point to be back for all of our meal times. 8 a.m., 12:15 p.m., and 6:30 p.m. are our meal times. I don't have to think about dinner. I don't have to get the groceries. I don't have to cook. I don't have to clean. This is typically something a house manager would do. But we've been away from home for 2.5 months now. So I'm starting to feel that pull back into like doing all the things again and worrying about laundry. But being in this place, I'm starting to remember what it's like to have those things taken care of. It's not pretentious. It's not bougie. If you have the means to do it, do it. Here's why this is amazing. I've had more time with my family, more hangout session, more movie nights, more board games, more just cuddles, because I am not doing the things that I might be good at, but I just don't like to do. So if you have the chance, go check out sagehouse.com and hire your house manager now, today, ASAP. Let's go. So number 2 is you need to build white space into your calendar. Hey, you open up your calendar and it's like, I'm free Monday to Friday, 9 to 5. Let's go. Let's fill it up with stuff. You don't know how many conversations and calls I've said no to. So many people have pitched to be on my podcast, people to pitch to be a vendor or partner at my event, the Pink Skirt Project Summit. By the way, July 9th and 10th in Kelowna, BC. And they're like, let's jump on a quick call and I can pitch you the idea. I'm like, I don't do quick calls. I don't do. You pitch me an email. I give you a chance to do 1 paragraph pitch. And if I think it's worthy of a call, then we'll jump on a call. Because I don't just have calls for the sake of having calls. And I will never have an hour-long call for somebody I first meet. Rarely have a 30-minute call. And most of my call invitations are for 15-minute calls. It's not because I feel like I'm too important or too busy. It's because I'm protecting my time. If you give somebody an hour for a call, they will use it. And in my mind, I think that's such a waste of time. The only hour-long calls I have are interviews for this podcast. So what you need to do is build white space in your calendar. And this is it's not luxury. It's actually a revenue driver, because you need to build in rest before the work and not as a reward. See what I mean? And that white space for me is just protected time. So what we do is we open up our calendar every Sunday to review the week. And I go in and I refine things. I tweak things. I tune things. I cancel meetings I think aren't worth it. I try to stack all the meetings together if they end up being too spaced out. However, my assistant Morgan knows not to do that. And she also knows the parameters around who and when can access me. So we build in this white space so that I have time to do thinking work. Like today I was up, I had calls from 6 a.m. till 8:30. Then I had breakfast with the family. Then I went to a coffee shop with my husband and my son, Noah, who got his schoolwork done. And I did like an hour and a half, 2 hours worth of like deep work. And then the white space came home. I had lunch with the family. And then for an hour after that, we just hung out. There was nothing scheduled. We hung out. They were getting ready to go ziplining. And then after they left, did some more work, came downstairs to our room to record these episodes. But let me tell you, that white space allowed me to just relax, to hydrate, to have a snack so that I can come here and be so prepared to record this episode. Because prior to that, I may have not been on my game. So the white space, again, is the rest you need to do and have before the work, not as a reward. You should not reward yourself with rest. I mean, you can, but what I'm saying is that this should just be like drinking your morning coffee. Doing nothing, you see, is often what creates those $1,000,000 ideas. We get those ideas in the showers, on runs, in boring car rides. It's because when you're doing nothing, that's when your brain gets to just go, ah. Oh. And so I actually have way more respect for people who are happy, healthy, driven, creating a life they want that actually has a lot of white space in their calendar. Because, there's this thing called the hustle culture, which I know is dying, it's dead, it's gone. But there's also the importance around grind. There's also this importance around still working your butt off. But working your butt off doesn't mean working 12, 15, 16-hour days, 7 days a week. Sure, there are seasons for this depending on your business. But for the most part, it's just getting a lot of smart work done in the best chunks and blocks in your day as you can, and then dedicated rest time in there. So the third strategy in this is how you need to raise your standards before you raise your effort, because you need to visualize yourself as the person who has already achieved the thing that you were trying to do. Your energy leaks from what you tolerate. Your energy leaks from what you tolerate. And these could be like raising your standards, could be increasing your price, firing clients that are not strategically aligned. For me, it's been saying no to sponsors and partners and vendors for the event that I just don't think see what it is that we're trying to do. It's no disrespect. It's just that they are not in alignment with our mission. And so we're essentially like trimming the weeds and blazing our own trail with the right people, because your energy leaks from what you tolerate. And I will not allow my energy to go to things or people or opportunities that I'm only tolerating. Life is so short, and we're just like this small little speckle of dust on this planet spinning around a sun that's spinning around a universe that's spinning. Like, in the grand scheme of things, it's so insignificant. And so why would we be tolerating people, things, opportunities, experiences that are just not filling us up and are taking our energy? You don't scale your business or your life by doing more. You scale by cleaning up what drains you. So bye-bye. Bye-bye. Bye-bye to what drains you. So those are 3 simple things that can help you bring more energy into your life. And even just cleaning up your calendar, getting rid of the duds, getting rid of the things in your day-to-day that you just absolutely hate doing. Perfect example, back home we have meal prep. And I talk about this before on my show many times, how we have our lunch and dinners prepared for us and delivered to our house a couple times a week. I think on average, we pay about, $3 or $4 per meal more than if we had cooked it ourselves. But the amount of time that goes into going to the grocery store, getting the groceries, prepping the meal, cleaning up, storing it, versus having somebody that actually likes to do it is insane. And I know some of you can't afford it, but also there's the things that you can afford and you're just denying it. You're denying it because you don't feel like you deserve it. You're denying it because you're worried about what other people are going to think, even to this day, by even sharing the fact that we don't cook our main meals at home 7 days of the week. I know this comes with people going, must be nice. Oh, that's a luxury. Heck, yes, it's nice. And heck, yes, it's a luxury. But also, it's not like I didn't do the work to get to this place to not deserve it. And let me tell you, I hate to cook. So I remember going back to the thing, like, don't do what you don't like to do. Hate cooking. I would rather scrub a toilet than cook. Now, if you like to cook, then by all means, go ahead, do the thing. This was just an example by creating, like, essentially it's like finding time in your calendar that already exists, because that is the energy, and not having to book something because you have white space, but just letting it be a thing. Go with the energy of the day. Like today, there was nothing booked after lunch. So I just hung out with my kids. topped up all our love tanks and now they're out so that I can do this. So here's an exercise that I want you to do to help you do a little energy audit, but it's like a reverse energy audit because I want you to see what maybe you shouldn't be doing or should be doing to get some of that energy back. So instead of like, I know the typical energy audits, they ask you to hunt for the things that drain you. I want you to make a list of all the things that maybe secretly or things you know that actually expand you. They light you up. They give you energy. So this week, don't change anything. Maybe a couple of things that I suggested on this episode, but other than that, don't change anything. Take notes on your phone, maybe a little notepad, or maybe in your journal or something about all the things that actually light you up in your normal life. And then ask that one question each night or even each morning. What moments today or yesterday made me feel most like myself? What moments today make me feel most like myself? And when you reflect back on that, those are the things you need to do more of. So when you're scheduling that into your calendar, you will find, oh, I don't have time for these icky things. Get rid of those things, whatever they are. I don't even care to come up with an example because you know what they are. So what actually makes you feel great? That's what you need to be scheduling. That's what you need to be prioritizing. The magic comes in by week's end that you'll see the 3 things that keep repeating themselves. These are your true energy sources. What are they? For me, it's unscheduled time with my kids. It is going to the gym. What is something else that tops me up? Just alone time before bed. I love having an hour of just alone time, maybe watching a show or reading or fiddling around, reorganizing my pantry. It's like the magic is in the things, those little things that you might think are insignificant. These typically end up being the things that are the leftovers at the end of the day. The leftovers is like the end of the day is done. Now I get my 20 minutes of time with my kids or the extra cuddles with my husband, when those should be the priority because they light you up and they give you your energy. So here are some examples for you that might spark your recognition of the things that light you up. It could be like a 6 a.m. gym promise to yourself to just go, to just do it. It's what you love to do. Every single time you come back, you're like, oh my gosh, why don't I do that every single day? 2 uninterrupted hours with your kids, right? That could be the equivalent to like the next day creativity. Walking alone with your coffee versus maybe doing a strategy session that you just don't have the bandwidth for. Maybe reading a novel at 9 p.m. as opposed to checking your email, your inbox, which is the death trap. Email's the death trap. Email someone else's to-do list. So just think about those things that actually top you up, because most of the things that we keep ourselves occupied with, it's kind of like a reflex. It's kind of like muscle memory to always check and refresh our email, as an example, which actually leaks your energy. So the energy framework is this. You got to reframe things. Protect your energy isn't selfish. It's actually one of the most strategic things you can do as a mother, as a wife, as a business owner, a CEO, a leader, an employee, stay-at-home mom, whatever it is that you do. Your capacity to receive $1 million or 1 million hugs or whatever it is that lights you up. It all depends on this. You can't pour from your empty cup. We know this. But more importantly, you can't lead from one either. And being a leader shows up in every facet of your life. When your kids are fighting and you're trying to diffuse a really gnarly situation, how you show up as a mother, that's leadership. And if you have no energy, you have no patience for these people. So when someone says, oh, that massage you went for is so selfish, that's a terrible mother, you say, no, that's the rest I needed, because when I get home and my kids are fighting, I can actually show up with grace and patience and actually be the leader that they need. So the last thing before we go is I need you to stop looking at other women's routines that don't live a life that you do. I need you to just stop looking at the wrong mentor, stop getting advice from the people who are just not aligned with the life you want to live because they might be famous or they might be, quote, successful. Stop apologizing for your boundaries. Start treating your energy like the $1 million asset that it is, because when you protect your energy, you protect your empire. And if you're building an empire, you need to be in that room July 9th and 10th, Kelowna, BC at the Pink Skirt Project Summit. Over 450 attendees, vendors, and an exquisite theme this year, all about being seen. So go check it out, thepinkskirtproject.com. And as always, ladies, please connect with me on Instagram. I would absolutely love to hear how you are auditing your energy leaks and how you are changing your energy to focus on building that $1 million business, $1 million life. Go to Instagram and follow me, Renee_Warren. Until next time, ladies, peace out.